So UDL, Universal Design for Learning, is a way to employ different strategies that will benefit the most needy in your class, but also benefit your class as a whole. Hey YouTube and everybody on Facebook, this is Jen Cronk with Transparently Teaching and Assist Learning hashtag, and this video is to discuss multiple means of representation as dictated by UDL. So UDL, Universal Design for Learning, is a way to employ different strategies that will benefit the most needy in your class, but also benefit your class as a whole. Now, I've had the wonderful opportunity to take a lot of classes lately, and I'm really trying to unpack and get a deeper understanding of this. So the assignment this week is to talk about multiple means of representation. Multiple means of representation is extremely important for somebody like me. It's a game changer. And what that basically means is that I have multiple avenues to be able to consume the information that I am required to know. So when you're dealing with somebody that has a bad case of dyslexia like I do and other issues on top of that, the mechanics of decoding become so cumbersome that I'm not able to do the job I need to do and get that understanding. I'm not able to interface with the information at all. Multiple means of representation will change that for me. So for example, one of the first ways I've ever used multiple means of representation as a teacher and also for myself is through audiobooks. I consume a ridiculous amount of audiobooks because I commute a lot and it's also the easiest way for me to learn. I remember very easily what I hear, but I can tell you that I just simply cannot take in digital text easily. Even today, 10 minutes before making this video, while doing some of my reading, I felt myself getting very frustrated because I feel like I am reading, but it's just not going in my head, and I'm not making connections, and I feel like as soon as I leave the sentence, it's gone. So multiple means of representation is a game changer for me. And for example, I used this with my high school class when we were reading Of Mice and Men. Now, I had a couple students in the class that were very much like me, had reading disabilities, and that wasn't the reason I went for it. It just seemed like the kids were having a hard time connecting to the text. Now, just to refresh my memory, I was listening to it using my audible.com account, and there's a wonderful reading by Gary Sinise. And I brought that in, and we started listening to the audible.com version of Mice and Men, and it became alive. My students loved it. It made sense. They understood all the nuances that I was trying to point out to them because they were able to hear this wonderful actor interpret that. So that's an example of multiple means of representation. They had both the text and they had the audio. But there's so much more to multiple means of representation. It's not simply just audio. It's just different avenues to convey meaning. So for example, visuals, infographics. Infographics are really, really great for people like me that are very visual, that really like aesthetics. I like graphics. I like pictures. They seem to just go well into my mind, for a lack of a better way of expressing that. There's also in music. You have students who learn so much through music. I mean, if you've never Googled the Ron Clark Academy, you need to do that because they make wrap up about nearly everything in their content area, and it's fabulous because these kids are retaining it, and it's really entertaining to watch too, and it makes you feel like alive, like they're really interacting with this material. Also, real life scenarios. So, and drawing connections. So, like for example, when you're a kid and your teachers have you act something out, it draws these connections in your mind about how things might feel. So one of the school districts that I consult in recently had a reenactment day of the Revolutionary War. And it was just fabulous because they were really like, the kids were on a march. The kids were outside sitting for a while. They were talking them through what this reenactment would be like and how long they were out there. That kind of interaction with the curriculum draws connections that no text ever could. and especially for those kids where the text is an inaccessible way to consume that information. So multiple means of representation won't just benefit the student like me with a learning disability, it enriches the experience for all the students. Now there's so many different examples that you can use for multiple means of for multiple means of representation. Expression is how I express my learning. Representation is how I'm taking it in. So I already spoke about Audible. I use Audible quite a bit for myself personally, but I absolutely use it in the classroom. I think it's a fantastic resource. Edpuzzle is also another great avenue for multiple means of representation. Now, Edpuzzle has access to hundreds and hundreds of video libraries, including Khan Academy and YouTube. You just take a look at what they have and you will be amazed at all the different videos you can embed. And what Edpuzzle allows me to do is it allows me to make questions and stopping points in the video, and I could put multiple choice questions, short response questions, and I also get to see my students' response in a dashboard. It makes the video come alive. And something that's also really important for students that are similar to me with learning disabilities is stopping points, because after a certain amount of time I might wind up hitting some kind of saturation point and might stop taking in information. So having the video broken up for me and interacting with me is another great way for me to take in that information. We also have Google Lit Trips as a great example of multiple means of representation. Now this is really exciting for me because I just last week was at the Google Geo Academy in Mountain View, California, and I got to meet so many amazing educators and the amazing people on the Geo team at Google, and it's fantastic. And Lit Trips, the creator, Jerome Berg, was there, and he's fabulous. And now we have this brand new web-based Google Earth. And with Google Earth comes voyages. And you can go on these voyages, which are tours with this rich media and beautiful text, and it takes things into another perspective for our students. So rather than reading about a country, you can go and explore a country. You can create a tour on My Maps and you can embed your own video or your own pictures. There are so many things you could do, and there's Google Tour Builder now, which also makes experiencing these things on a geographic and social studies level so much more interesting. So when you're designing your curriculum for your students, please consider for each topic providing some form of multiple means of representation. When you provide multiple means of representation, you will be enriching the experience for all your students, but you could be changing the lives of the students like me. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day.